Matthew Woodward here, and not done anything like this before, but I'd like to thank the Boston SEO team for having me on, and I thought I'd start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I have over 13 years experience online, and I pretty much grew up on the internet from a young age. I was previously a successful corporate online marketer, but I didn't really like that too much. It was very rigid and structured in nature, and that just doesn't work with the web. So I've now been a full-time affiliate marketer for the past 4 years or so, and in the last 12 months I've built a Technorati Top 100 business blog, which I'm going to talk about today and take you behind the scenes of a little bit. The blog has had a pretty wild 12 months, to be honest. Since it launched, it's had 113,000 unique visitors, and that's coming to over 600,000 page views, which shows people are engaged with the content and clicking around and moving throughout the site quite a lot. It's also had 16,500 social shares and nearly 9,000 subscribers, and since it launched, it's won 4 major awards, including the Technorati Top 100 Business Blog in July and August, also Pro Blogger Want to Watch 2013, the Best of Search Engine Journal 2012, and the Unbounce Top 75 Marketing Blogs. It's made $73,000 in profit, and I've been able to do this while traveling to 10 countries around the world. And I think the next slide, yeah, that will show you the month-on-month growth of traffic of the blog since it launched, so you can see just how well that has grown. So today I'd like to take you through exactly what I did step by step to achieve that, how I set up the blog to extract value, and I'm going to put a lot of focus onto this and explain what value truly means and how to get as much of it as possible. How I went about creating and promoting my content. This is really simple, and most importantly, how you can do the same. So first of all, let's take a look at why I started the blog in the first place. Most importantly, I love marketing and the internet. I grew up with the internet from a very early age. I was writing games reviews and things like that from when I was about 13 years old, and built my first website, before YouTube existed. I have a wealth of knowledge to share as I've sort of, grown up through the internet and been successful in the corporate world as well as an affiliate marketer. I've got a lot of unique angles and viewpoints on things, and really there's only a handful of internet marketing blogs that publish quality posts. A few years ago we had some really great blogs around, but they seem to have dwindled off. And there's also a lot of misinformation around and poor advice that you see in the rehashed guest posts, just the same stuff wrapped in a different wrapper over and over again. So that's why I started the blog. But what a lot of people don't really do when they start their sites is they don't develop a blog site or its purpose. What is the purpose of the site? So you might want to think, what is the point of your site? What do you want it to offer? What do you want other people to say about it? And I spent a bit of time thinking about this when I started my blog, and I decided to define my blog purpose to be as, when people ask for help on a forum, my tutorials will be shared to help. And that challenges me on a different number of fronts. It means that I needed to get my content up to a standard where people would want to share it, and it would actually make people want to suggest it to be helpful. So it put a lot of pressure on making the content good, but I also had to get involved with the community and engage with people, so people knew about it to share it on a forum. So a lot of people don't seem to do this, but defining your blog site or purpose it's really important. It's something you should be doing from day one. Really, preparation is victory, and I'm going to just run through this quickly because we don't have a huge amount of time. But you need a good logo and branding, you need a content strategy, you need a promotion strategy, and you need to set everything up to extract as much value as possible. And let's just dig into each of these points a bit quicker, in a bit more detail now quickly. So, logo and branding. This is important, and a lot of people don't put much thought into this, but it helps people to remember you, and capturing people's imaginations and sticking in their mind is really important. The age-old saying of first impressions count apply on the web as well. So you need something that helps people to remember you and sets you apart from the competition. And this doesn't have to be complicated. For me, I just went with a basic 3-color brand, the black, pink, and blue that you're going to see throughout this presentation, and a logo which was just a cartoon version of me, very friendly, although probably a bit more ginger than that in real life. But all jokes aside, this is important. Spend some time on it. Next, you need a content strategy. Again, this is just something that's really simple and doesn't take that much time to put together. Find out what people want and give it to them. That is the most important tip that you can probably take away from this entire talk. Find out what people want and give it to them. Use forums to find 5 common problems in your niche. It doesn't take long. Just find 5 problems that come up time and time again, and then note down just little bullet points of the different areas that you need to cover within those topics. And then you have everything that you need to create 5 pieces of amazing content. And if you can create content that solves people's problems, it helps establish you as an authority and puts you in a sort of a teacher-student relationship with your readers. And that's a really good relationship to have with people. People will subscribe more, they'll be more engaged. So solving people's problems is a definite way to create some solid content. You should also use Google to find examples of what other people have created. There's usually thousands of articles about any given topic online, and what you really want to do is make sure yours is the best piece of content on that topic, period. Absolutely no doubt about it. And if you research the problems properly and take a look at what other examples are out there, that is really easy to do. It takes some time, but it is easy to do. Once you've got that, you can move into promotion. And lots of people try and get complicated here, and as soon as they've built a site, they want to throw links at it and everything like that. But in the early days of a site, just keep it simple, stupid. That's a great saying to apply to most things in marketing. Just keep it simple. Stick to the basics. So, find out where your target audience lives online. Which forums are they using? Are they using Twitter or are they using Facebook? Find out where they live and get involved with those communities. Set up Google Alerts and TalkWalker Alerts for relevant key phrases. These are 2 great services that are completely free, and if you've written an article about, I'm going to use my tiered link building example, you can monitor the web for people talking about that and just directly engage people with your content by solving their problems. So if you see people on a forum talking about link building, you can just jump in and get involved and recommend they check out your tutorial, which we already know is the best tutorial for it on the web. And finally, what is value? How do we set the blog up to extract as much value as possible? Well, first of all, we need to define what value is, and this is what value is to me in order of importance. So the most important value that we can extract from any user is a full-time subscriber. Next, a social share, so clicking the +1 button to like it on Google or Facebook. User-generated content, blog comments, forum posts, or an idea for a new post are all forms of user-generated content. New traffic from sharing content with others, talking about it, either on forums or by the old-school method of word of mouth. Affiliate clicks. And finally, bottom priority is affiliate sales. So let me give you a quick tour of how my blog extracts value. So, if we look at the blog here, let's look at how I collect subscribers first, and I will take you through that sort of the funnel that I've created that extracts value end to end. So, people can subscribe either in the sidebar here, or sometimes in line with posts here, or in this little box that follows you down the page here, or again in line in posts here, or at the end of the post. You can see there's a real focus on getting people to subscribe. And there's a reason for that, because immediately after they sign up and join my email list, they get to see this page, which asks them to follow me on Google+, which increases the amount of people that have me in circles and my likelihood to show up in authorship, and also builds up the ever-elusive authorship score that Google are going to switch to at some point. Once they are in my email list, actually, when people leave a comment for the first time on the blog, they get taken to this page, which again tries to get them into either the email list or to at least follow me on Twitter. But once on the email list, the first email they get invites them to connect with me on social media, again growing all of those social signals. And the next email that they get is quite friendly. How can I help you? Ask me anything. If that just loads now. Come on, don't let me down. There we go. And this invites people to actually come over and join the forums. Now, the reason I do that is because I used to get sorry, I used to get a lot of emails asking for help, and I'd spend some time on the answers and it'd just be buried away privately in emails. But when I bring them to the forum, this creates new user-generated content, a new page to be found by Google, new long-tail search words to rank for, and it just helps build a nice little community of people. And this really helps make a connection with any new reader almost instantaneously, and I spend time going through these and answering people's questions and just trying to build some sort of relationship with them. So as you can see, if we go back here, I've got a big autoresponder series set up that takes people through some of my previous posts, and then it asks them things like, which tutorial do you want me to make next? I've got one somewhere, I need your help to improve the blog, asking for one thing they like, one thing they don't like, one thing they change immediately. And you can see once people are signed up, they're pretty engaged. There's some pretty good content throughout, and there's a few emails dropped in for engagement as well. So that is why the most value you can get is a subscriber, because once people are going through this series, it's like an automated relationship builder. It's like having a permanent meter and greeter for every single one of the people that subscribes. So there's a few things that I also do to generate social shares, and you can see at the end of posts here, come on, don't let me down, you can see I have the share buttons, standard share buttons, and a nice cartoony arrow. And here I've actually started making PDFs available of the post to download, or with some tutorials I put together an exclusive pack of resources, and you need to share the page in order to get those. So the social shares help grow the blog's authority from a social standing, and it brings in new traffic as well. And the affiliate clicks come in, you know, here you can see the best spinner is listed in resources here, or I did a post about the best Black Friday internet marketing deals, which in essence is just a list of affiliate links, but it's organized and is helpful for people. And that is pretty much how I go about extracting as much value as possible from visitors, rather than just getting them on and off the page via an affiliate click. So I think we're overrunning a little bit, but making a bang. At the time I launched a blog, I noticed a lot of people were struggling with tiered link building, which is something I knew how to do. So I spent what ended up being 100 to 120 hours creating a 6-part video series, teaching people over my shoulder, and then published it all for free on the blog, which a lot of people told me I was stupid to do, and I could have easily sold it as a product. But I did that anyway, and just reached out to my target audience on forums and social media, and anyone that needed help with link building or asking questions about link building, I shared my tutorial with them. And over 12 months, that series has actually attracted nearly 100,000 visitors. It's been watched for a total of 284,000 minutes, and came to about $15,000 in affiliate commission. So month 1 looked like this. 2,000 visitors, 600 profit. Month 2, 4,500 visitors, 4,000 profit. Month 3, October 2012, 6,000 visitors and nearly $7,000 in profit. And if you want to take a look at the growth, or a much closer look, you can actually come to the income reports page here and go through each. It's all broken down by month, so you can see how, from month 1, 2,000 visitors, and it made $605 up until November. 31,000 visitors and $11,500, a total earning of $107,000. So I think that, yeah, wrapping it up, that pretty much brings me to the end of things now. Spend time planning and preparing. It really is worth the effort. A lot of people just don't put any effort into planning and preparing things. You really need to set up your site and to extract as much value as possible from every user. You can see how, whether they leave a comment or once they subscribe, how I've built the email series to really extract as much value as possible. All of this comes down to creating the very best content in every topic that you touch, though. It does take time and effort to create really good content, but it is the seed to the growth, and is what really has helped separate my blog from a lot of the competition. Listen and monitor the web. Use free tools like Google Alerts and TalkWalker Alerts. I actually like Buzz Bundle, but that's a paid tool. But the free tools are fine, and just get involved when conversations come up. Keep it simple. It's not rocket science. Find out what people want. Give it to them. We're all humans. We know if something's great content and worth sharing or not. So as long as you just keep it simple with the content creation and promotion, it really isn't. There's no secret. There's no secret. And if you want to read much more detail about this journey, I could have talked about this for hours, but I had to condense it into a small slot. But just hit my blog, matthewwoodward.co.uk/top100, and you can follow the full journey in much more detail there. So that's it. I think we're going to move over to some questions now.
Okay. So we're just going to test the audio here. Yep, we may have to web chat him here to ask.
Hopefully, yeah. That was good, Matthew. Thank you. Looks like the online Q&A is not exactly working, unfortunately, so we can't. But we can probably take some questions from the audience here. Can you hear me at this moment, Matthew? I might need a second here.
Okay, does anyone have easy web chat questions to ask?
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
Good. That was very good. So I'm gonna ask the first question. How are you primarily monetizing your traffic through just affiliate links? Is there anything in particular that your audience likes that converts well and provides a good percentage of your income, or any thoughts on that?
Okay, so I actually break down the income by affiliate program in each of the income reports, so you can actually see exactly which programs are earning the money and why.
Yeah, it's hard to see on the screen here. It's a little small.
Can I zoom that in?
Yeah,
How's
well,
that?
it'll be... Okay, oh yeah, that's better.
Okay, so you can see it all broken down, and sometimes earnings peak for certain programs. For example, Content Machine here has done, $4,500 this month, but that's because they release a new version. I could update a tutorial. Sometimes I run competitions as well, which see spikes in earnings in certain programs. So the income is mainly made up from affiliate programs.
That is impressively transparent of you. Very few people share that kind of detailed information.
Yes, yes. Well, that's been a part of the strategy for the blog. I mean, if you follow along with the income reports, you can see how I've built it up month by month. Each of one of them shows you exactly what I've done, why I've done it, how I've done it. So you can follow along, from day one. Also, importantly, while it looks like there is a lot of affiliate programs and earnings going on here, a lot of the content on the blog doesn't really feature affiliate links. I think if you go back all the way to around July time, you will only find 4 or 5 posts that contain affiliate links, and I tend to publish 2 posts a week.
Want to come up to the audio here? Back here? Do it that way? All right.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're just trying to get a question from the room, and
No worries.
yeah, unfortunately, we're leaving out our 10 remote viewers that we have right now. But we have people.
Quick question. I really like how you use the thank you page, basically Google Plus registration for potential on the thank you page. Can you tell more about the effectiveness of this strategy and how many customers actually end up following you from your thank you page on Google Plus and how much that actually affected your rank? So more about your Google Plus strategy. Thank you.
It's hard to directly attribute that. What I'm looking to do there is I'm playing on the psychological aspect that once a user's taken action with your website once, they will take action again, whatever that is. So in this instance, they've subscribed to the email list, they're currently taking action. You could either lead them to a thank you page that ends the journey there, or try to take that extra bit of value from them while they're hot and taking action. This also applies to e-commerce sites. One of the highest converting page on any e-commerce site is the thank you page after someone's placed an order. If you're not asking people to take additional action at that point, you're leaving a huge amount of money on the table.
All right, our next question.
Yes. So you lay out a process here in an area where you, because of your background, you already knew quite a bit about it, and in fact, I got indirectly through what you said, were perhaps frustrated at the state of the blogs on this stuff when you got into it. So you sort of knew which direction to go, particularly when you are emphasizing preparation.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important for you. You know where to go. How about if someone walks in and just cold and says, I'm interested in some other topic. I'm not interested in blogging on internet marketing and trying to monetize that. I'm interested in something else. How would you advise them to do that preparation step? Can you break that down a little bit? Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's a good question. So this process really applies to anything. It's not specific to internet marketing, and I've got clients that I step through this process as well. And really, regardless of what area you're in, finding 5 common problems and solving them with 5 pieces of content, it's easy to do. It's easy to do. If you want to give me an example, I can perhaps act live on that.
Example of a niche or new question? Yeah. Come on down.
Hey Matthew, actually I see you're using like WordPress technology, and you don't push too much on the design portion of your website, like structural. Do you think if based on the niche products, would a better design make more sales, convince the visitor to buy more stuff from your website? It's mainly about niche products, because right now you have more of a blog style. What if it's like you're selling, I don't know, some kind of online ebook, and you have just a one landing page about that book, or a couple of more pages? Would the design have a better impact to get more sales or more people to buy, or you think it's more about the content? If you post more text, people would get more convinced to buy something.
Okay, okay. Stay sat there because we might need a bit more conversation.
Okay.
There's two questions there. The first one is about design, and the second one about a one-page landing page sort of approach to promote a specific product. So let me pick on the design first, and I didn't really cover this because of the lack of time. But the design is important, you're right. And I've tried to go for a design that makes things very easy on the eye. It's not too crowded. I always keep my paragraphs to 2 sentences, so everything's very easy to read. The text is bold and clear. Links are easily marked. The design is very important in keeping people engaged, because if it's too busy and crowded, people don't really know what's going on, and really you just want to keep a nice, simple flow, you know, with that sort of design. Also, when we're going to pages like this, you can see there is nothing for them to do other than this or this. We very finely tune them in at this point. Your question about promoting a specific product. This, I would ask you to step back and look at the bigger picture. Instead of promoting a very specific product, it's better to step back and work actively across a broader niche, because then you've got multiple opportunities to promote lots of products. You saw the diversity of the income there. If I'd have built a site specifically about link building software, I wouldn't have been able to promote, you know, things like spinning software necessarily, or other services. And so I'd ask you to take a step back and look at your niche broader. I mean, what example products are you talking about?
Let's say people data, reports about specific people.
So marketing data, or?
Could be marketing data, or background check report. It just that's why I'm kind of more going to specific to online product, and that's information based.
Okay, so you know, like background check reports. If you think about the types of people that are going to be ordering that kind of product, what are their main concerns? What are they actually interested in?
To see more details about this. Number one would be background checking themselves.
But why? Why? What is the motivation to do that? What's a real life experience, or why would someone want to do that?
To see what's out there about them.
For just out of curiosity?
Well, out of curiosity, but that might include like personal information that they don't want to be out there.
Okay, so I would approach that as that the person's main concern is safety and privacy.
Yep.
So rather than focusing right on that information and background search, I would step back and create something authoritative in online privacy and online safety. And that would allow you to pan out into programs. I mean, you've got great opportunities right now with the NSA that are probably recording this somewhere. But if you just focused on background checks, you wouldn't be able to promote secure VPN services, which would fall under that wider net. Are you aware of any blogs or anything at the moment that address that?
Not so many.
Fill that niche?
Not so many. Just the news sites for the NSA period, and that's it.
So That's what I sort of mean. If you can sort of step back and think about what's your audience actually interested in when they're doing that, and if we can work out from that its safety and security,
Yeah.
that allows you to sort of take a broader look at a niche rather than dialing in on a specific product. Because also, if you rely on a specific product and you build your site around that, what if that product gets pulled tomorrow? Your business has gone overnight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
No worries. Thank you.
All right, next question there from Chris.
Hi.
Hiya.
So my question is, when I first heard you talking about this, I assumed that the bulk of your traffic was coming from search engines. But I can see that you probably have SEO traffic coming in. You have your email subscribers coming back through that awesome series of autoresponders you have set up. You've got social, and you've also got all this forum traffic coming in where you've gone out to try to solve people's problems on forums. So I'm wondering, sort of what the actual, and I see you're pulling it up, what the split of traffic is coming in, and what, do you think, where do you sort of attribute your success with this site? Do you think it's primarily because you finally cracked the code and the organic traffic started coming in, or is it because, you think you have those forum posts out there that keep bringing in people from lots of different referrers, or is it really the email that's driving the most value to your site?
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, stay there just in case you've got some follow-ups.
Oh, he does.
Well, if you're going to ask me some complicated questions, I want to make sure I clarify fully in the answer. So, yeah, that was a lot of questions in one. So the blog actually started out as a zero link building experiment, and this is documented. In fact, at the top of any of the income reports, there is a link detailing the experiment. And what I wanted to do was see if Matt Cutts was talking out his arse or not when he kept telling us to publish high quality content. Everyone's heard that. Publish high quality content, you'll get amazing rankings. So I thought, yeah, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try and see what happens. So building the blog, and with what we covered before about the different types of value a user can offer you and the different ways to extract that, setting that up from the offset allowed search traffic to, it's just, can I show it here? I mean, let's have a look. I have got it somewhere. I mean, just look at some of the length of the posts. This is why search traffic is so much. The posts are the best result for Google to return. They're designed that way.
Sorry, yeah, maybe I may have just babbled on for too long and not really gotten my point out. But I'm just wondering where your traffic comes from. It looks like a lot of it's Google, but I don't know if all of it is. And what, I guess, in a sense, yes, what kind of traffic drives the highest amount of value? I guess, yeah.
So what traffic converts the most? So is it because if somebody watches your video, they convert the most, or read one of your long posts that turns into the affiliate income? Where do you think your sales come from the most, the traffic source? If that's answering your question.
Yes, of course. I do have those conversion rates, but not to hand. So, what I can tell you for sure is that if you look at these metrics here that you can see on the screen, I hope you can see those clearly, that YouTube, although it doesn't offer the most traffic, it offers the most pages per visit and the longest average visit duration. This tells us that the YouTube traffic is much more engaged, and if I had the other metrics available, I'd also be able to show you that they opt in more than anyone else and they click more affiliate links than anyone else. So over the past 6 months or so, I have made a big focus to grow that YouTube traffic, just because it converts so much better than any other source. I actually did a post comparing the 3 top internet marketing forums and their quality of traffic: Warrior Forum, Black Hat World, and Traffic Planet. And again, the post is on the blog if you search for it. That reveals all the metrics again, looking at email opt-in rates and affiliate clicks to see which was the best one to be focusing time on. Traffic, as you can see, comes from a variety of sources. Google, in just 1 month, drove 26,000 visitors, which I think proves a zero link building experiment works. And as much as I hate to say it, Matt Cutts isn't talking out his arse as much as I'd like him to be.
Can I follow up one question really quickly? So
Yeah.
where would email traffic fall on this list of 10 sources? Or is it
Direct.
further down? Is it
It's
direct?
direct traffic, yes. So the email sequence is designed with a long-term view. And once someone's on my email list, I'm building a relationship with them every week, completely automated. They're coming into old posts. They're adding comments to old posts. When Google reindexes the post, it sees it as fresh content. It gets moved up the search rankings. Old posts keep getting social signals. Old affiliate promotions keep getting earnings. And this is all happening week by week by week. But each tutorial is set up in such a way that it helps a user and provides so much value. It's almost like affiliate links aren't even there.
Thank you.
Switch here.
That's-
Next question from Jim Spencer.
Hi, good morning.
Hiya. Good morning. It's 1 a.m. here.
I'm interested in the blog writing aspect of it. I imagine when you started, you were writing yourself and you had a certain strategy and resources available that you may or may not have paid for. I'm interested in how that started out and then how it's transitioned over the period of time till now, and if you have more guest posts and if you're paying for writing or if you're doing it all yourself, just how you've approached getting the content you need to be able to publish twice a week.
Okay, so you have to excuse my creative imagery. So first of all, with the writing, I set a certain tone of voice. I understood my audience, and I understood that my audience just liked to be told like it is, straight to the point. They didn't want any sort of fake business etiquette, straight, just like you're talking to a friend in a pub, and being short and punchy and keeping things simple. So all of my writing revolves around that, and if you read through my blog, you'll see that. The writing up until the last 2 or 3 months has always been done by me. I am the expert on the subject, and if you've got clients in any specific niche, truth be told, they are the experts on the subject, not a writer that you outsource to. So the writing really, I mean, to knock out a couple of posts a week isn't a lot of commitment to create relationships. And if you struggle with that, I tend to see each piece of content as a business asset. It's a long-term business asset for years to come.
So what's happened in the last 3 months?
So what's happened in the last 3 months? Okay. I always get a lot of requests for guest posts, and to be honest, they're always shit. So, come on guys, how many guest post requests have you got? It's just some 500-word bit of shit that's been to a cheap outsource writer. We've had it 1,000 times. So I've just refused, and finally 2 people came up with 2 scorching guest posts that it would have been rude not to publish. One was by Charles Float of God of SEO on a massive e-commerce guide. It's like 10,000 words long. It took me 8 hours just to edit it, and one was by Lewis Ogden about niche research and how to find online businesses that are doing well and be able to reverse engineer their strategy and replicate it yourself. And both of those posts have been published this month. You can find them just probably on the second page from the home page. But monsters, I had to publish them.
Terrific, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And to wrap up, I'm Brian Hawkins, who begged you nicely to join us, so I appreciate so much coming on board. We'll kind of do a conclusion here. I'll have a hard question, and you can kind of see where you go with it. But
Okay.
for people who are going to be listening to this recording afterwards, this is what keeps them till the end of the show here. So, you have a lot of tools that you promoted and you've made money from. What are some success stories that you could share with people who maybe have emailed you saying, I've used this spinner, I've used this strategy in this niche and was successful, that kind of highlight some of the tools that you obviously make money from, but the people who buy the tools, what was some of their successes that they've had, looking at that report?
So here are some testimonials that I've collected over time. I've actually got about 30 of them in the back end that I've not actually done anything with yet. But there we go. There's one guy that used the strategies to get a job, which is crazy. I mean, look, I actually used a strategy on the SEO job interview. Applied for an entry-level SEO job for an SEO division of a major corporation. Blah blah blah. Analyze a website. Thought he was super underqualified, but he got the job and he knew more than anyone else.
So that's why spend $100,000 on education when you've got a free blog?
Yeah. Well, you can't learn internet marketing in uni,
sure,
because by the time you start the course, it's already out of date. So, there's examples here if you want to read through in the top 100 posts of how various people have benefited from the tutorials and applying.
Okay. Nothing else juicy that hasn't been published yet that is a case study?
Nothing yet. My private SEO tool I'm going to release free to all of my readers on the 12th of December. I only announced that date today, so
okay.
there's not a huge amount of people that know about that right now. But anyone that's subscribed to the blog will get it completely free, because that's what I do.
Great. Well, you want to have a conclusion here to end up the video? Any points or anything, anywhere to go to check you out?
If you just hit my blog, matthewwoodward.co.uk, as you can see, there's a forum there. I'm happy to answer anyone's questions about internet marketing, whatever it is. You just post on the forum. I check that every morning, Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturday if you're lucky, and you'll get my answers, as best as I can.
All right, great. Well, to the room here, can we get some claps here? All right. Well, thank you so much. I know it's been a journey to get us to this event. I'm glad everything worked out, and thanks for making it happen. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Have a good evening, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Matthew. Apologies to our remote viewers we couldn't get questions from, but we'll try that next time. All right. Thanks a lot, Matthew. Take care.
Bye-bye.
This concludes the online portion of our event.